Hi, I'm Radhicka Kapoor. I'm a senior fellow at the Indian Council for Research on International Economic Relations. India has the largest young population in the world today. The share of the working age population is expected to rise until 2035-40. So India, in fact, has the longest window of opportunity in terms of utilizing this demographic dividend. But if we have to utilize this demographic dividend, we basically need to create more productive jobs for the youth. Data from multiple household surveys over the years seems to suggest that the problem of youth unemployment has been festering for a while. In 2015-16, while the unemployment rate for the economy as a whole stood at 3.7%, that for the youth was 10.3%, while for the older workers in the workforce was just about 1%. This points to the severity of the crisis of joblessness amongst the youth. In fact, the problem of joblessness is particularly severe for the educated youth. What the data tells us is that the unemployment rate has been rising with education levels. Those with graduate and postgraduate degrees have unemployment rates which are touching 30%, while those who are not literate have an unemployment rate as low as just about 2 to 3%. This low unemployment rate is in fact not much of a reassurance. It is a reflection of the fact that those who are uneducated and often belong to poor backgrounds cannot afford to remain unemployed in a country like India where there is no social safety net. On the other hand, the educated who can afford to wait for a while till they find the job that they are looking for report themselves as unemployed. In many ways, unemployment is actually a luxury enjoyed by the educated rich in India. There is really no silver bullet to deal with the problem of youth unemployment. In the presentation today, we saw a menu of policy options being discussed to address this issue: increasing female labour force participation rate, reforming education and skilling systems, encouraging entrepreneurship, reforming the labour regulatory framework, reforming product market regulations. But for any of these to actually work in the Indian context, they have to be implemented in the overall context of an economic development policy that places the maximization of employment and not just the maximization of GDP at its center stage. We've seen over the years that the nature of structural transformation that India has witnessed has been one where we have seen a jump straight from agriculture to service-led growth. Manufacturing has been completely leapfrogged in this transition. So if we need to create more productive jobs for India's low-skilled, unskilled workers, manufacturing needs to be the engine of growth and job creation. In this context, we need to focus more on sectoral development policies which focus on those sectors that can generate more jobs. Making growth more employment intensive is central to the challenge of addressing youth unemployment.